We live in a world where there are plenty of dogs who need our help. I care for many dogs outside my house as well, as much as possible. If they need treatment, if they need first aid, or if they need behavioral modifications, I try to assist them. I try to change their behavior. I try to train them, whatever it is that they need. So, people have asked me, how can we help rehabilitate rescue dogs? Like dogs who've been rescued off the street, dogs who've been rescued from a previously abusive a person, or dogs who have been left out by their families. How can we help these dogs to better get adopted into their forever homes? What can we do? Therefore, I bring you this video which focuses on how can you help rehabilitate rescue dogs. Let's go. Hello everyone, welcome back to the Happy River. If you cannot see my other hand, that's because I have Zeus here. You can probably see his ear. Oh, you couldn't. Yeah, you can see his nose. So I have Zeus here. He is providing me emotional support for this video. So today's topic of discussion is how can you help rehabilitate rescue dogs? I am Dr. Shruti and owner and author of the happypeppers.com, your one-stop destination for everything dog related. Whether you're looking for information on dog psychology, care, training, food habits, dietary supplements, everything is in that blog. The link to the blog will be there in the description, so go check it out. Click on the subscribe button so the moment a new blog post releases, I can notify you. And if you're new here and haven't yet hit the subscribe button, please go do so as well. Hit the like button, the subscribe button, ring that notification bell, and set it to all so that YouTube can notify you every time a new video releases from the channel. This way, you will not miss out on any of the updates. Alright, let's get into it. So, who are rescue dogs? Rescue dogs are dogs who've been rescued, as the name suggests. Now, they can either come from previously abusive owners, they can come to you because their guardians decided to just leave them on the road because they couldn't take care of them, or they were surrendered to this shelter, or maybe they are special needs dogs and their guardians couldn't keep up with their special needs and they decided to surrender the dog. One final place for where rescue dogs come from is literally from the streets. Abandonment or human abuse is very likely associated with this, the last factor. So these dogs have lost trust, they have lost people, and all they want to do is feel better. So if you want to rehabilitate rescue dogs, the first thing and the thing that you will need in the highest quantity is compassion. You will have to be compassionate. So before you get the dog home, you need to create a safe and comfortable environment for the dog. This is point one. So before you bring the dog home, have a crate, cover the crate up with a few blankets, put in some good music around the crate, make the inside of the crate look like a den. Dogs love that kind of like hidden, cozy spaces. They like it. It makes them feel secure, and it'll be easier for the dog to stop feeling overwhelmed in the new environment when you bring him or her home. Because your home is an absolutely new environment for the dog, and the dog doesn't know what to expect. The dog doesn't know that you're very passionate and you love the dog and you're going to help the dog. Depends on the dog. Some dogs can, I understand that very easily. Others who've experienced abuse find it harder to trust humans. So you have to provide an area to the dog which is completely only the dog's, no human interference allowed over there. So this will help the dog feel secure and unwind quicker. Point number two, establish a routine. Routine is always important, whether for humans or for animals, they also need routine. So the moment the dog gets home, the next day onwards, have a routine and follow it through every day. This way, in a few days, the dog will begin to expect, like, in which time of the day what is going to happen. So if it's 8 a.m. and if you take him out for walks at 8 a.m., so he will expect you to come and say that, okay, it's time to go for a walk, buddy, let's go, and you guys will go for a walk. So that builds predictability and helps reduce anxiety in the dog. The more the dog understands what's going on and he knows that, okay, this time is for this task, that time is for that task, these factors help reduce anxiety by huge measures. Because dogs cannot vocalize, they cannot come and ask, okay, what's your plan here? What is going to happen? And neither can you explain to the dog, okay, look, I've brought you here, I'm going to rehabilitate you, and then you'll find a forever home. You cannot really do this. You have to show the dog your plans by your actions. Point number 3, socialization. A lot of these dogs have had bad experiences previously. If they were on the road, maybe other dogs would have hurt them, or other wild animals have hurt them. It can be anything. And in some cases, the dogs have not been socialized by their guardians itself. So they were kept in a very secure environment, or secure by, I don't mean secure exactly. I mean, they were kept in a very aloof environment, an environment where other animals were not allowed. The dog was not allowed to interact with other animals. Maybe the dog had human interaction, but not animal interaction. So socialization will help the dog build confidence, come out of his shell, and learn to trust humans again. Because when the dog is at your home, the dog only knows one human. So he's only learning to trust one human, not more than that. When you take the dog out, when you get the dog to meet other people, the dog learns to either accept people or to, stay in their presence but not be bothered by them. That is also okay. Your dog does not have to be the jolly dog who goes to everyone and asks for pets or sits on everyone's lap. As long as the dog accepts humans in his vicinity and does not feel scared in the presence of humans, it's good. So go ahead, help that dog socialize right from day 2. Start with bringing people in, and then proceed to taking the dog out to dog parks, to other people's houses, to cafes that allow dogs, and other places. Point number 4, positive reinforcement training. Nothing works better on dogs than positive reinforcement. You offer them a treat and you ask them to sit. Eventually, remove the treat. If the dog does not know basic commands from before, you will have to start teaching the dog basic commands as well. Because it is so much easier to bond with the dog when they know sit, come, let's go, whatever, like fetch. The dog knows what to expect from you. The dog knows what is expected of him. So start training by using positive reinforcement. Please do not use shock collars or e-collars or prong collars or any of those sort of adverse training procedures. A lot of the people will tell you, oh, they are good, they don't hurt the dog and all, but I don't prefer them. To each his own, but I don't prefer those methods. Point number 5, patience and consistency. Just imagine what the dog has probably been through. I can't even tell you. There are no psychologists for dogs who sit and uncover the problem with the dog, because the dog cannot tell them. So whatever it is, you have to understand from the dog's behavior. You have to give the dog time. You have to understand that, okay, this will take time. If a training is taking longer, if the dog is stuck at some level of training, go back one step and come back to that step again where the dog is stuck. Take a step back whenever it seems that the dog is stuck at this level of training. Take a step back and then come back to that step again. Always remember to reward good behavior, praise the dog, give treats, and stay consistent. By consistency, I mean do not do cue poisoning. Now, suppose today you say, come, to call the dog. Tomorrow you say, let's go. Day 3, you say, okay, time to go. The dog may understand this if the dog's been with you for a while and has started to understand your way of talking and all. Like my kids respond to come, let's go, let's play, everything. They understand much more. But this is a dog that you're trying to help. You cannot afford cue poisoning, because when this dog goes to another person's house, they may or may not interact this way. So you have to find a cue. If it's come, then it's come. You always have to use come. You cannot use let's go. So that's something you have to keep in mind and emphasize on that and focus on that and follow it. Point number 6, seek professional help. Now, it can get hard at times. Now, we are not superhuman. Sometimes we are overwhelmed. Sometimes things just don't work out in our favor. What do we do then? We ask for help. There is no harm in asking for help, because the end result that you want is for the dog to be happy. Maybe you'll learn something new if you take the help of a trainer. Maybe that will enhance your ability as a person who rehabilitates and fosters dogs. You might become better at your job if you ask for a little help today. So where is the harm? Ask for help if you're stuck. Take expert guidance. Take trailer training programs. If the dog has behavioral issues that you cannot sort out, ask for help from people who can help you. Just don't go with aversive training methods. That's all. Point number 7, Mental stimulation and exercise. Now, every dog needs that, whether it's a Chihuahua or whether it's a Great Dane. Every dog needs proper level of exercise depending on their size and activity levels. Now, even if it's a Labrador, it may be a laid-back Labrador, or it may be a very energetic Labrador. Now, for an energetic Labrador, you will have to provide the dog more exercise. And for a laid-back Labrador, a little bit less of exercise will do. You can do the needed levels of exercise for the laid-back Labrador. But these factors you will have to judge from the dog's temperament. Once the dog comes out of his shell and starts behaving like a puppy again, does the dog really like to, run around and play fetch like for a very long time, or is this a dog who likes to curl up on your lap and get scritches? That will decide how much of exercise you have to provide your dog. For mental stimulation, you can use interactive feeders. You can use the feeders with all those grooves and everything, built on them, so the dog cannot just inhale his food. He has to spend some time working out how to get to the food. And then I have a toy for Zeus, which is like you put the food treat on the top, and then the dog pushes down on the food with his paw, and then the food gets distributed into different compartments, and then they open each compartment and they get the food. So you can use these interactive feeders, or you can make them yourself to provide some mental stimulation. Take a cloth, put in some treats, fold the cloth, make a ball with the cloth, throw it. Let the dog have his day. Just make sure you're not planning to use the cloth for anything else, because that will be torn apart. If you want more help, you can check out my 5 homemade dog toys video. I have highlighted 5 toys that you can make at home within 5 minutes. Okay, point number 8. Build trust with the dog via bonding exercises. Now, how will you bond with the dog? Dogs, the one language dogs understand the most is love. And then comes exercise, playtime, and all of those stuff. So, if the dog is laid back, well, you got plenty of time. You can give the dog scritches, hugs, kisses, and that can be your bonding time. But if the dog is very energetic, then playing with the dog, taking the dog out, training the dog, training the dog to be by your side while you walk on the road, like giving off-leash training and all, these can act as bonding exercises for such a dog. So always do things with the dog. Make the dog feel involved in the things that you're doing. If you're working, it's okay. You can have the dog by your side. You can pet him like every 2 minutes and then go back to work, if that's an option for you. If it's not an option, then make sure that you are engaging with the dog on playtime, playing fetch with the dog, throwing frisbee, making the dog feel that he's important and you spend time with the dog. Basically, the bottom line is spending time with the dog. Point number 9, monitor the well-being and health of the dog. Now, some of these dogs may have had anxiety issues, some of these dogs may have trauma, some of these dogs may have health issues. So the first thing that you do as part of rehabilitating a dog is to getting them checked at the vet and finding out if there is any health issue that needs to be addressed right away. Even if your vet gives a clean bill of health to your dog, keep an eye out on your dog. Your dog will never tell you that it hurts here. So you have to understand that by the dog's movement, if the dog is seeming lethargic or not, if the dog is behaving his normal way or not. So you have to pay attention to all these factors. And finally, last but not the least, be prepared for any kind of challenge that may come your way. Now, this can be in the form of setbacks in training. The dog came out of his shell and he went into his shell again. Now, rehabilitation is a long process. You cannot decide that, okay, I'll rehabilitate this dog in 3 months and then I'll move on to rehabilitating another dog. Sometimes it may take a very long time, depending on what the dog has been through, depending on his progress levels or his way of overcoming his anxiety and all. So it may take a while, or it may be that the dog is doing better, but no one's coming forward to adopt him or her. So you have to take all these things into mind before you start the process of rehabilitation. Rehabilitation is something that will require a lot of patience, compassion, and understanding from your side. You will also have to commit to it for a very, very long time, because you cannot set the timeline yourself. It depends on the dog. You have to be there for the dog in every way possible. But trust me, rehabilitation is the most rewarding experience as someone who cares for dogs. There's no better way to give back to the dog community. I mean, compared to what they've given us, we can never match to that level, but This can be a small step forward. So, if you're planning to rehabilitate rescue dogs, you are making a huge difference in the life of that one animal. Huge difference. So, good luck, and I wish you all the success in rehabilitation. If you have any queries, feel free to put them down in the comment section. I will be happy to answer them. You can also follow me on my other social media channels. You can check out my other blog, which is mental health related. And well, that's about it. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. And I will see you guys in my next video. Till then, bye bye. Take care.